Hi, my name is John Moseley. I'm an attorney in Virginia, and I want to talk to you about your rights when it comes to when you've been charged with a crime. Should you talk to the police? It's amazing how many people get into trouble, get stopped, get arrested, what have you, and they'll come to my office and talk to me about their case, and they'll tell me, and I'll ask them, did you say anything to the police? And then it's just, oh no, I didn't tell them nothing. And then we get to trial, and there's body cam video or notes in the police where you supposedly made all kinds of very problematic statements and admissions. During the stress and the energy and adrenaline of being stopped, everyone has a tendency to do a little bit of babbling. I don't know why it is, but you get up, someone gets up on stage. I was once on a radio show, long time ago, and I was kind of tired. It was about an hour, and I got off the radio show by phone. I had no idea what I said. I listened to it like a few months later when they sent me a tape, and I was like, wow, what a good point. I never do that. I said it. I didn't even remember what I said. There's something about getting up and talking to people in a stressful situation that, number one, our inhibitions, we just blather all kinds of things we shouldn't be saying. And then you forget that you said it. So they come to me as a client and they say, oh no, I didn't tell the police anything bad. You really have to make a decision that you're not going to talk to the police. Other than just the most basic things, to be polite, not to give him a hard time. You know, if he asks for your registration, for your ID. I know everybody's heard, you know, don't say nothing to the police. There is an exception, and some people can get in trouble in this. It's kind of strange, but they do have a right to see your identification. They do have a right to ask you, who are you, where are you from, and do you have any ID? And they have a right to look at your ID. Kind of is a difficult thing. I mean, it's kind of governed, like in Virginia, different counties have different municipal ordinances, like Arlington County has one of the worst, but the courts have upheld that. You do have to identify yourself. But beyond that, and you know, if you need to talk about housekeeping things like, I need to get my purse before I get out of my car. My dog is in the back seat. That's okay. But to talk about what actually happened, don't. Just don't. You think that you're going to help, and you might. But here's the problem. If you say anything to the police officer, you're going to be judged not on what you actually said, but on what the police officer writes down. What the police officer thinks you said, what he writes down, then or later, what he remembers months later when you go to trial. So you will get testimony from a police officer that might not be what you actually said. Now, most police officers, you know, God bless them. I'm glad they're there. And I think that most of them want to do a good job. And they're trying their best. But if they stop 300, 400, 500 people in a month, what's the chance that they're going to clearly remember you as opposed to the guy they stopped after you or the guy they stopped before you or something that happened later? I mean, they're human. And so the problem is that as long as you say anything at all, you are in a situation where they can misinterpret or mischaracterize, misquote what you said. Not necessarily because they're bad people, although there are some, in any given group, there are some people who are not the most angelic. And so I think, you know, and the problem is the very few police officers who might embellish, might twist, might want to remember it differently than what you actually said or what actually happened. They kind of spoil it for all of us. I mean, my attitude as a lawyer, if I'm stopped and I have to talk to the police, I say, look, I know you're probably good people, but there's a few police officers who aren't, and they kind of spoil it for all of us. So I can't talk to you because there's a few bad apples out there. So the thing is that many people are convicted based upon what you said. And when I watch these things, you might not even realize it. Because when they try to put on their case, they might not be able to prove that you did it. But you may fill in the blanks from what you say. And if they think you said something, you may have to get on the stand and try to explain it away and try to put it in context. And you don't even know that the judge is sitting there filling in the check marks of the crime from what you said. Not from the evidence from the prosecution, but from you. And the judge may not say that. But sometimes I'm sitting there watching and I'm going, oh, the judge is like, they have to fill these boxes. And you filled the box from what you said to the police, or trying to explain it away on the witness stand. So everybody really needs to get it in their head that don't try to be smarter than everybody else. Don't think, well, I can say things and I won't say anything that's a problem. You may not even realize why what you're saying is hurting you. So just say, I'll talk to my attorney. And I know the difficulty is that you're saying, well, if I give a reasonable explanation, maybe he won't charge me. And that's true. Because sometimes they won't. But if he does charge you, the risk is so much greater that you're going to get in some serious trouble. So I would advise you, well, call my attorney. You should have an attorney. You should pick somebody out. So you could say, I want to talk to my attorney, and you actually have one. So have an attorney or have some business cards, some phone numbers. My number is at my website, johnmoseley.com, no H, 2 E's, 703-656-1230. My website is johnmoseley.com. Trying to help people out by having you know your legal rights. Thanks. Stay safe out there.